thinking. So let me get you to read the tea leaves, if you will. Based on what they asked for, what are you thinking that they're thinking?
No, I won't do that. I can tell you that they're human.
Hi guys, welcome to XCOM 2 Long War of the Shows and Mod Jam collection. We got a little ways in the beginning and stuff, so it's getting sort of interesting so far.
So I think that's a good thing. They want to know what specifically.
See, when did she escape?
When you think of this, they want to read back 29 of the 55 pages. That's a lot of things that they wanted to reinforce.
It's thick. It's really thick. I've read it a few times. It's not easy to understand. Even if they have a copy, which I wish they did.
So do you anticipate more questions?
Yes. Yeah. More questions. And that just means they're being diligent. They're being thorough. They're not saying, yeah, whatever. They're going through it. And when somebody says, wait, remember what that witness said? You mean 3 weeks ago? No, I don't. They might want some of this read back to them. It just means they're being thorough.
All right, let's get back to this point that we've been making. We made it yesterday. We're making it again today. We talked to Trey Gowdy and Andy about it, Brett Tolman as well. This idea that there is like a cafeteria choice of what the underlying predicate crime is here that helps this to develop. Typically, juries go in and they have to decide a specific set of facts. They don't have a multiple choice. Maybe they got a multiple choice for is it second-degree murder or is it aggravated manslaughter or whatever, but they don't have a multiple choice for this nebulous thing that ties this into a felony and then supersedes the statute of limitations. So what do you think these jurors are going through trying to figure that out? And then there's the idea that a bunch of them may disagree with the others, but they're still trying to come up with something that says we're unanimous.
Yeah, add that to the list of what makes this case unique and arguably bizarre. I mean, most cases don't have porn stars, describing whether the defendant wore a condom or not. So add that to the craziness of this case. But again, people are pointing the finger at the judge on this one. I got to defend him of the things that the judge has done. This is not him. He didn't write this law. The law was created by the legislators. And the legislators say they don't have to agree on the specific crime that he either intended or concealed. And so they cannot be unanimous on that, but they have to be unanimous that he did commit the underlying offense of falsifying business records with the intent to commit one of the 3 crimes that prosecutors laid out.
Mark, Jonathan Turley has been joining us throughout our coverage, and earlier he said this on the jury request.
It's interesting that 3 of the 4 transcript portions that they asked for are actually David Pecker, which may reflect the fact that the jury understands that Pecker is far more credible than Cohen.
What do you your thought on that, Mark?
Speculation. He may be right. He may be wrong. You really don't know. You don't know. I once had jurors come out and ask the question, what dose, instead of does, they spelled it D-O-S-E, unanimous mean. They couldn't spell unanimous. They didn't know what it meant. The judge just read what it meant. And the leader of the federal jury came out and asked us what that meant.
The juror, though, that they all seem to be pretty astute. Let me ask you about the potential for sentencing here if Trump were to be found guilty. And he did seem to show resignation to the fact that he might be. I would imagine that putting him in jail is logistically not a good thing to do. It's been talked about, well, could he be confined at home? Potentially, he's got the Secret Service there. But the Secret Service is not there to keep Trump at home. They're there to protect him. They're also a federal agency, and it's not their job to do it. So would you imagine that they would, the Department deputies out in front of Trump Tower, could they give him an ankle bracelet?
The answer is yes, they could give him an ankle bracelet. It wouldn't be difficult to monitor his location. And quite frankly, house arrest could be given with still permission for him to leave for limited purposes. So it's not total lockdown. It's totally up to the judge. This judge can impose a big-time trial tax if he wants to, and that's what it's called. When you dare to go to trial in my division, you're going to send a message that, you're going to pay for it. So there could be that. I think most likely he'll either be put on house arrest or probation, because I can't picture anyone who runs a jail or prison who could say, I can keep that man safe, and I guarantee it.
Well, the anticipation is surely building. We are in hour 9.5 hours of deliberation so far, and they continue. Mark, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
Because Black Americans voted. You don't allow our President, Vice President of the United States because of you. That's not hyperbole. Well, if Black Americans are to deliver the White House for Joe Biden, he's got some work to do. Polls show him losing support with those voters while Trump is making big gains.
Plus, the president has indicated, his team has indicated that he's planning to speak following the verdict of Trump's criminal trial. Should he? Ryan Kilmeade is here.
I brought in a True Max protein with 30 grams of protein. Those who tried me felt more energy in just 2 weeks. Here, I'll take that.
Ensure Max Protein, 30 grams protein, 1 gram sugar, 25 vitamins and minerals, and a new fiber blend with a prebiotic.
The Tempur-Pedic Breeze makes sleep feel cool. So no more sweating all night or blasting the air conditioning, because the Tempur Breeze feels up to 10 degrees cooler all night long. For a limited time, save up to $500 on select Tempur-Pedic adjustable mattress sets.
These bills are crazy.
She has no idea she's sitting on a gold mine. She doesn't know that if she owns a life insurance policy of $100,000 or more, she can sell all or part of it to Coventry for cash, even a term policy. Even a term policy? Even a term!
Position confirmed. Find out if you're sitting on a gold mine. Call Coventry Direct today.
Cool.
800-496-9200 or visit CoventryDirect.com.
I'm Judge Napolitano, and let me give it to you straight. I've personally seen what goes on in D.C., and folks, we could have some real challenges ahead. Congress can't stop spending money, the Fed can't stop printing money, and our national debt is destroying America. How could this impact you? Well, your dollar's valueless, and the value of your retirement could be worthless. That's why gold is so important. It puts you in control of your wealth. So if you'd like to learn more, call my friends at Lear Capital. They have over 25 years of experience and thousands of 5-star reviews and a 24-hour risk-free purchase guarantee. I buy my gold. Lear is who I trust.
Call now for your free gold and silver guide and receive Lear's latest report, $3,200 gold. See how exploding U.S. debt could get us there. When you call, ask how you can also get it for $15,000 in bonus gold. Call now to see how much bonus gold you qualify for. Call 800-880-2424. 800-880-2424.
I'm Richard Clark, and I love my hose. My hose is lightweight.
Okay, I'll go.
My hose will not kick, and my hose is anti-leak. It ain't those old hoses. This is my hose. The new pocket hose copper bullet, now infused with real copper, so your water is always clean, lead-free. Just turn on the water and watch your hose grow and grow to a full-size 3/4-inch hose. It stretches and expands like a rubber band. And when you turn off the water, away it goes, shrinking and squeezing that water out until it's practically bone dry. And that makes it easy to carry and put away. Our new inner tube uses 3 layers of high-strength latex on the inside. Then it's wrapped in a new polymer filament jacket, similar to the technology used in forest fire hoses because it's light and tough, 3 times stronger than the other hoses. It's guaranteed for 10 years. Nearly impossible to tear or snag. And the redesigned connector protector helps stop leaks at the spigot. But my favorite part of our new hose build, the oversized, easy-to-grip fittings. Easy on and off, even with gloves. With more than 100 patents worldwide, it's the best pocket hose in the world. Get the super light 25-foot pocket hose copper bullet today for only $29.99. But wait, call now and get our copper spray nozzle with our exclusive thumb drive free. Simply use your thumb to turn off and on. And with 10 unique patterns, you'll have a setting for every job. It's a $30 value, free with every 50-foot copper bullet. But it's not available in store. This is an exclusive release of our newest pocket hose. There is a strict limit of 3 per order, so don't wait. Order now.
To order, call 1-800-709-4650 or visit copperbullethose.com. So call 1-800-709-4650 or visit copperbullethose.com. Order now.
Previous administration history that released to the country 5 million Americans. A significant number of black voters. I was able to keep my commitment to bring the first black woman to the United States Supreme Court. Justice Ketanji Brown
tired of the same old argument, the divisive politics, judging us by our skin tone and want to be judged by our merit, what we bring to the table.
President Biden not exactly on the same page as some of the minority voters that he is trying to reach and claims he has. Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris held their first black voters event in Philadelphia. That happened yesterday, and he's trying to show support. Jackie Heinrich is live at the White House. She's got the latest on this for us. Jackie, what exactly is their strategy?
Well, Sandra, the Biden campaign isn't just telling black voters what he's done to earn their support. He's also telling them that Trump is racist.
He's that landlord who denies housing applications because of the color of his skin. He's that guy who won't say Black Lives Matter. Same guy who wanted to tear gas you as you peacefully protested.
I set them up all wrong.
What do you think? He would have gone on January 6th.
Go back a bit.
If black Americans had stormed it. Think about this. What would happen if black Americans had stormed the Capitol?
A Biden campaign email said Trump is, quote, running on an anti-black agenda, talking down to black voters. The Trump campaign made it very clear they believe all they need to engage black voters is free fast food. They were on to announce a week of events at barbershops, hair salons, and black churches across swing states to get the word out about what Biden's done to build black wealth, including through student loan forgiveness and lowering healthcare costs. They're also spending 8 figures on what they call engagement programming with black organizations, community groups, faith centers, and black media. And they implicitly denied that it's a response to the polls, saying instead black voters deserve to have their vote earned. South Carolina Senator Tim Scott, considered a top contender for Trump's VP shortlist, tweeted of the Black Voters for Biden-Harris event, next stop on the Pander Express. It is becoming clear that Trump's rally in the deep blue Bronx, which drew some 10,000 people, got the attention of the campaign. So it's not an accident that Biden brought the first black female vice president along with him to launch this voter outreach program targeting black voters, and it might be an indication we're going to see more of Vice President Harris in the future, Sandra.
Okay, Jackie Heinrich on that live from the White House for us. Jackie, thank you. Don?
All right, Sandra, let's bring in Brian Kelly, Fox and Friends co-host and host of One Nation. It could be that the Biden campaign is running scared here because for so many decades, Democrats have really taken the African-American vote for granted. But take a look at this poll here from Fox News. Biden supported by African-American voters, 72%, Trump at 23%. Compare that to October 2020 when Biden was at 80 and Trump was at 14. He is making big inroads, and that could win him the election in states like Pennsylvania.
There's no doubt about it. And John, I'll tell you what, if those are the numbers we're seeing, their internals must be even more alarming. Because why else would he spend 2 of the last 3 weeks focusing on the African-American vote? Remember last week he talked to black radio personalities that he had 2 NAACP appearances, as well as different events throughout last week, including speaking at the commencement address of Morehouse College, which is predominantly black school, historically black school. So when I was talking to Charlamagne the God, one of the most impactful African-American personalities right here in New York City, he looked at that Morehouse speech and said that is flat out pandering. He said that's not an inspirational message those kids want to hear. They're the finest among us. They're smart people. They want to be inspired. That's not the message. But what is the same message that he gave yesterday? The same thing. Donald Trump doesn't like you. America doesn't like you. You get naked in this country. And then he goes into personalizing all these stories. They can't be verified. That he practically grew up as a child in a black church? Really? Can you name 2 mentors that you met at that black church? What about the fact that he got arrested protesting Nelson Mandela's arrest? And what about Delaware State? He goes, I learned a lot of my most formative things at Delaware State, historically black college. No one has
To the floor.
idea what he's talking about. He never taught there. He never went there. But of course, he says he had experiences there. And then if you look at what he's trying to do, he's trying to say that Donald Trump not only doesn't deserve the 23%, he's saying he doesn't like black people. And the problem is it goes against the persona of a uniter,
the guy that was supposed to bring some calmness to the office, is that a guy that's trying to bring calmness and intellectual IQ to the office? I don't think so.
Well, you talk about him missing the mark with the black voters. This is a Virginia business owner, Ajay Brewer, and Georgia independent voter. Word of that right. Listen.
The black folks I surround myself with just want everyone to get out of the way. You know, we don't need folks to do things for us. We don't need people to baby us.
They can't keep putting us in these race baskets. Accountability season is here, and America is ready for someone who's ready to lead from a place of understanding.
And they want to be told the truth, right? And not spoken down to. What struck me yesterday, and our Edward Lawrence was quick to fact check this, it got to me too. But President Biden claiming that Donald Trump lies when he says that black unemployment reached a record low on his watch. Fact check, it actually did. It had so under President Biden, but it first did so under President Trump. It then kept going down into another record low in April of 2023. It has since gone up and it is back above the lows of the Trump years. So, to be clear, he's telling people that this never happened. And it certainly did. The first record low for black unemployment didn't happen in the Trump years. So they want to be told the truth, and they want to know what the plan is to make things better.
As Charles Payne told me this morning, when I said it was a 5.3, that was a record. It dropped into the 4s under Biden. That was a new record. But then it went up to 5.8. That's where it is right now. And what Charles says is right. Don't get caught up in that number. It's the quality of the jobs. Yeah, 5.6. It's the quality of the jobs. It's not just having a job. It's the quality of jobs, and the standard is dropped. The other thing is, I think at one point we didn't just talk about Americans. Can we just talk about Americans? It's not so much people. The one thing about Donald Trump, he doesn't break it up into give me Hispanic votes, give me black votes, give me white votes. He's like, I'm going to go to Pennsylvania. Let's take to win Pennsylvania. We'll put it up in Pittsburgh, sure. Also the rural votes. The one thing that is alarming too, if you're a Trump supporter, and that is they have not set up big offices in Pennsylvania. And it looks like the infrastructure is being fanned out by the Biden people. And a lot can happen, you guys, as you know as well as anyone, because you do a lot of election coverage, is that Pennsylvania is got a lot of runway. So there's 2 or 3 points in almost every poll. And as you get your message out and as you pan it out and get to people will decide really who gets that state. Donald Trump the last 6 weeks been caught up in the obviously in the trial, but it would be great to see his infrastructure, Larry Trump and your previous guest, Mr. Watley, actually getting that going in these battleground states. But there's a alarming situation in Nevada, in Arizona, dead heat in New Hampshire, dead heat over in Virginia now. So these numbers aren't lying. And to Joe Biden's reaction, let me take the weekend off. Oh, I'll come back Friday, say congratulations to the Chiefs, and then go back to the beach. Interesting take.
All right. All right, at the time, we will see on One Nation this Saturday at 9 o'clock. Appreciate it as the press headed back into the courtroom there. We expect jury deliberations to start fairly soon. Thanks, Brian. Jennifer?
All right, there's the show. 9 p.m. Saturday. Watch it. All right, big time. Meanwhile, this cameras caught a driver trying to mow people down outside of a Jewish school. What police are now saying about the suspect.
Well, the outcome of former President Trump's criminal hands in the hands of trial, in the hands of 12 New Yorkers. Former Trump attorney Bill Brennan will join us on
The whole idea here is to make this go as long as it can. It's not fair to the
Nice
jury,
bullets.
it's not fair to the defendant, and it's not fair to the justice system.
Hot spring moving sale has been extended. Save up to 25% on moving and storage until June 10. And Save by Pods has been trusted with over 6 million moves. Don't wait. Use promo code 25NOW to save. Look at pods.com today.
The 1878 to 1921 Oregon Silver Dollar, a true American classic and one of the most iconic silver dollar coins in history. It has been over 100 years since the last Oregon Silver Dollar coin was struck for circulation, but now, for a limited time only, full pound bags of original U.S. government-struck Oregon dollars are being released to the public. That's right, you can own a full pound of 1878 to 1921 classic American Oregon Silver Dollar coins, all in very good record condition, fully visible dates and mint marks, guaranteed. Call 1-800-333-2210 now. To secure collector-grade U.S. mortgage silver dollars by the pound, struck during the Wild West and the Gilded Age, plus receive a bonus American collector's pack valued at over $25 free with every order. Call 1-800-333-2210 now to secure your full pound bag of mortgage silver dollar coins before they're gone. 1-800-333-2210. That's 1-800-333-2210.
Moving out.
Whoa. The unexpected can happen to any of us. That's why SelectQuote makes it easy to get the life insurance coverage you need to protect your family for less than $1 a day.
SelectQuote on a $500,000 policy for only $16 a month.
We can help you save more than 50% on life insurance.
Visit or call us. SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
Only Purple's Gel Flex Grid passes the raw egg test. No other mattress frees your body and simultaneously supports your spine. Every foam doesn't come close.
Which goes fine. That's the way I do it.
Visit Purple.com or store near you.
We really don't want people feeding food at hours and spoil our good. Good, real food is simple. Looks like food. Smells like food. It's what dogs are supposed to do. No living being should ever eat processed food for every single day of their life.
It's amazing to me how many people write in about their dogs changing for the better. The Farmer's Dog is just our way to help people take care of them.
Evac request confirmed. Hold tight.
Balance of Nature fruits and veggie supplements are convenient and easy to add to any schedule. Paired with eating more fresh produce, regular exercise, and a positive mindset, Balance of Nature fruits and veggie supplements can help you keep your rhythm. Start your journey with Balance of Nature supplements. Make a splash in the summer with 35% off plus a free fiber and spice supplement while supplies last as a preferred customer by using discount code FOXNEWS. The darkness of bipolar depression made me feel like I was losing interest in the things I love. Then I found a chance to let in the night. Discover Capileta. Unlike some medicines that only treat bipolar 1, Capileta is proven to deliver significant symptom relief from both bipolar 1 and 2 depression. And in clinical trials, movement disorders and weight gain were not common.
Capileta can cause serious side effects. Call your doctor about sudden mood changes, behaviors, or suicidal thoughts right away. Antidepressants may increase these risks beyond thoughts. Elderly dementia patients have increased risk of stroke. Capileta is not approved for dementia-related psychosis. Reports fever, confusion, or stiff muscles, which may be life threatening, or uncontrolled muscle movements, which may be permanent. Common side effects include sleepiness, dizziness, nausea, and dry mouth. These are all the side effects.
In the darkness of bipolar 1 and 2 depression, Capileta can help you let it light. Ask your doctor about Capileta and Capileta.com.
You can watch or listen to the latest news, business, and news headlines on SiriusXM. Anytime, anywhere. Fox News Audio on SiriusXM. America is listening.
The survey video shows an officer driver trying to run over Orthodox Jewish students and a rabbi outside of a Jewish school in Brooklyn. New York City police arrested the man and are investigating the attack as an anti-Semitic hate crime. Our Alexis McAdams is live at the scene in Brooklyn with more. Did the perpetrators say anything before the attack?
Pretty police and witnesses we talked to out here in Brooklyn, they say this guy was yelling at me to kill all of the Jews right before it purposely drove right on the sidewalk behind me and tried to run over that group of Orthodox Jewish men, including that rabbi and now that driver's behind bars. Take a look on your screen, okay? This is a video that was caught on nearby surveillance cameras that still have this neighborhood pretty much up in arms here. You can see that car going right up on the sidewalk, that right toward them, speeding toward the group of men wearing yarmulkes outside that church and school. The Jewish men scrambling to get out of the way. Then the driver just takes off. Investigators tell us the group of students and the rabbi were targeted. Members of the school are traumatized. Listen.
He turned around trying to ram them. He drove on the sidewalk trying to ram them, and then everybody ran away. Thank God it didn't hit anybody. I guess I'm not shocked. I'm not surprised about it because it's just, I guess it has become the norm right now.
So who is this driver is the question. Well, it's Ashkar Ali. The 58-year-old now faces more than a dozen charges, including attempted murder as a hate crime, menacing as a hate crime, and reckless driving, to name a few. That man was busted by the school police watch.
this is the time we live in right now. It's a crazy time. It's a dangerous time, and we just hope that we can continue to keep the community somewhat calm and help the police department out. That's what we're here for.
And they are having more security preparations and more cameras here behind me in this area of Brooklyn. And Mayor of New York City, John, says the driver was emotionally concerned, to say the least. John?
Good Lord, it's just crazy there. Alexis McCandless first, Alexis, thanks.
Back to our top story, jury deliberation is underway for the second day in the historic federal trial against former President Donald Trump. That verdict, we know, could come at any moment now. Let's bring in William J. Brennan, former Trump Payroll Corporation attorney. I say any moment now.
We get an engineer out of this one. This is a good one.
We already know they've got questions. Bill.
And it looks like Bill's.
Oh,
yeah, you are.
You guys are trying to sound, didn't you? Unfortunately, we can't hear their questions.
I didn't know you threw them.
No, it's okay. Go ahead, Bill.
They do. They came out swinging, Sandra. They came out with 4 strong questions. Then they asked for a reread of important, crucial testimony, and then they asked for a reread of the jury instructions. So, it's hard to predict if it's a few of them, one of them, but they're certainly working back there. And, that buzzer could ring 20 more times with questions, or it could ring in 5 minutes with a verdict. You just don't know. It's like waiting for a baby.
So, Bill, here's what Jonathan Shirley observed earlier from the jury request feedbacks. Oh, we don't have any sound. Okay, he said it's interesting that 3 of the 4 transcript portions that they asked for are actually from David Pecker, which may reflect the fact that the jury understands that Pecker is far more credible than Cohen. They were really interested in hearing more about the Trump Tower meeting. It seemed like they were trying to get to the idea whether or not there was this conspiracy that was ginned up between Pecker and Cohen and maybe Trump to, catch and kill these stories, though Pecker did, in his testimony, and this was read back, say, no, we did not turn this catch and kill. We just bought these stories and we chose not to publish them. But does this go to the idea of the jury trying to figure out if there was some sort of conspiracy here, which they may bump it up to this felony conviction?
I don't know that it does. I mean, I think if I was sitting in that chair as one of the current defense counsel, I'd be thinking they've taken the entire testimony of Michael Cohen, they've excised it from the case, and now they're trying to see if the prosecution can get there on the remaining shreds. I don't know that they can, and it's important to remember, John, that they brought in evidence of the lying doorman with the non-existent illegitimate child. They got 30 grand. The McGoogle payments. None of that is directly tied to this case in a criminal fashion. They have to show that because shockingly, these payments to these 3 individuals on their face are not illegal. They have to show 2 things: that there was malfeasance in the record keeping and the notations as to what the money was spent for, and then to make that huge leap to felony land, they have to show it was with the intent, not just the motive, but the intent to commit another crime, election fraud, election finance. I mean, it boggles the mind that we're in the midst of deliberation, and it's still a multiple choice as to what crime. So, the law, I think, for what it's worth, the longer that jury is out, the better it goes for the defense.
Oh, interesting. Judge Janine joined us earlier, and she too said her mind was boggled. But it was on the point that the jurors were not sequestered.
To give them a week off is unheard of. I would have said on day 1, bring in precious. You're going to be sequestered. This is too important. We don't want you out and about on Memorial Day with family and friends and being influenced.
So, as they deliberate behind closed doors, are you concerned about, they were told by the judge, don't go research or read about the trial, of course. Are you concerned what is and was already in their heads prior to anything that they heard in that courtroom?
Sandra, I certainly don't mean this particular jury, but it has been my experience for the last 35 years, jurors do tend to do their research. And with the advent of the internet, it's so much. When I started practicing, there was no internet. They'd have to physically drive to the crime scene. Now they can. It's a shame because it makes it so tempting for them. They could be playing Wordle and just hit Trump trial and go down that rabbit hole. So I think they're probably violating the order.
Hey, Bill, just a 2-second answer here. When we first talked to you, the trial was just getting underway. You had kind words to say about Judge Mershon.
provided the coordinates, but the rest is up to us. Locate the VIP and escort them out of the area safely. Goes without saying, but don't leave any hostiles standing. Menace 1-5, target coordinates incoming. Secure the VIP and proceed to the evac volume for extraction. Advent already knows we're here, so your position isn't concealed for the extraction. Go, go, go! Okay. Rolling out. Get it done. troops here.
In two rare letters addressed to Congress, he said that he takes rare cases and decision into the books. So many of all these things done a couple weeks ago in front of the service of this upside down flag on the outside of after a verbal altercation with a neighbor who used what he called, quote, the vilest epithet that can be addressed to a woman. A neighbor who admits using the phrase to Mrs. Alito told the New York Times that she did have words several weeks after the flag was flown, contradicting what Justice Alito told Fox News. He wrote to Congress, I had nothing whatsoever to do with the flying of the flag. I was not even aware of the upside down flag until it was called to my attention. As soon as I saw it, I asked my wife to take it down, but for several days, she refused. Justice Alito also addressed a second flag that flew his vacation home in New Jersey. The appeal to heaven flag, Democratic members of Congress say it had similar connotations to the upside down flag, and it was carried by some on January 6th outside the Capitol. But John, it does date back to the Revolutionary War, and the San Francisco Chronicle reports it was recently removed with just in the past few days from the downtown public civic plaza in San Francisco after flying for 60 years, went up in 1964, Tom.
Yeah, well, there's just no end to this. Is there? All right. David, great report. Thank you. Sandra?
All right, deliberations continue in Donald Trump's trial here in New York City. The latest from our legal team just outside the courthouse.
Okay, everyone, our mission is to provide complete balanced nutrition for strength and energy.
Ensure with 27 vitamins and minerals, nutrients for human health, and ensure complete with 30 grams of protein.
Introducing Ned's Black Psoriasis. He thinks his flaky red patches are all we will see.
Otezla is the #1 prescribed pill to treat black psoriasis. Otezla can help you get clear skin and reduce itching and flaking. Routine blood tests required. Doctors have been prescribing Otezla for over a decade. Otezla is also approved to treat psoriatic arthritis. Don't use Otezla if you're allergic to it. Serious allergic reactions can happen. Otezla may cause severe diarrhea, nausea, or vomiting. Some people taking Otezla have depression, suicidal thoughts, or weight loss. Upper respiratory tract infection and headache may occur.
With clear skin, movie night is a groovy night. Live in the moment. Ask your doctor about Otezla.
You need new replacement windows, but you're just not sure if they're in the budget this year, right? I'm Brian Gary here with Ted Coons from Renewable Energy. He's here to talk about how to make window replacement more affordable.
Well, first, Brian, you don't have to go on. You could just replace your worst windows first. Or another way to make it affordable is to change the style of window. For example, you could do a gliding window instead of a casement. We have a lot of ways to make window projects really affordable.
Compared to other window companies, you have a completely different business model.
Yeah, with other companies, there's just too many people involved in the process. There's the manufacturer, the seller, and then the installer, and then the customer. And if you call with a problem, that's when they say, oh, well, we're the manufacturer. You have to call the installer for that problem. Or vice versa. We're the full-service replacement window division. With us, there's no passing the buck. At Renewal by Anderson, we sell, build, install, and warrant our windows and windows. So if there's ever an issue, we take full responsibility for it.
Why don't you sell by the window?
It doesn't matter if it's a $200 window or a $1,200 window. A lot of vinyl windows just don't last. For energy efficiency and beauty, there's a much better option. Our Windows Fiberx composite material is available in 9 designer colors, and it's much more durable than vinyl. Fiberx is low maintenance like vinyl, but stronger than vinyl. And it's beautiful like wood, but doesn't burn up easily.
Before May 31st, buy one window, patio door, or entry door, and get the next one 40% off. That's 40% off with a minimum purchase of 4, plus save an extra $40. This offer ends May 31st for a free appointment with Greenville Financing. All line 704-42.
Deals are crazy. She's no idea she's taking a cold. No, and if she owns a life insurance policy of $100,000 or more, she'd sell all her part of the country for cash. Medicare policy. Medicare policy.
I'm sitting on your old line. Call Commissioner Direct today at 800-496-9200 or visit covercigarettes.com.
Every day, more dog people are deciding it's time for a fresh approach to pet food. Develop with Wet, made from real meat and veggies, portioned for your dog, and delivered right to your door. It's smarter, healthier pet food.
Watch continues as a jury deliberates 34 felony counts against former President Donald Trump. Fox Business's Lydia Hu is outside of that courthouse. So Lydia, the longer this jury deliberates, who's the favor?
Well, the typical convention is that it would likely favor the defense, right? Because if they came back fast, it means there's an agreement, and that agreement would probably favor the prosecution. But it's really hard to say. We don't know for sure. This is a typical convention. In this case, it does seem like that was a good indication that the jurors are considering the mountain of evidence that is presented before them. Just to remind everyone, we're talking about a month-and-a-half-long trial. We have to put on green room 80 hours of witness testimony heard by the jury. And after parsing through all of that now, I'm applying that to jury instruction that you can't take with you into the deliberation. It's going to take some time, and you want to
All right, so based on what we heard this morning in terms of the readbacks, in terms of the instructions to the jury, I mean, we don't want to try to guess where the jury is going in this, but they do seem to be zeroing in on this conversation that occurred in Trump Tower, which may speak to the idea whether they're trying to get their heads around this idea of a conspiracy to influence the election.
Yeah, it sure does. You know, the whole idea that there was some alleged catch and kill scheme, and they specifically asked you to read back the testimony from Pepper and Cullen. Maybe they want to see if that testimony matched up, if they could corroborate what Michael Cohen was saying, since he does have so many credibility issues. But again, you know, just because there would be some type of agreement, another interesting part of the jury instructions that one would hope the jury would consider is that, you know, Trump's mere knowledge that perhaps there was some type of agreement is not an indication that he was a party to it. The jury will also have to look for other indications of his intent. So that's what they're probably going through this evidence, looking for any sign that he basically signed off on this, agreed to it, endorsed it, asked for it. I'm not so sure that we heard any of that in the testimony that we read this morning.
Okay. Lydia, who? How about that courthouse? Lydia, thank you.
And so, Sandra, we watch and we wait and we wonder when we're going to hear from the jury again.
Could be any minute, any hour, any day. We'll see. But great to be with you all. Great to be with you, John.
2:17 on Friday, right after the pre-rush. All right, Central DVR, never miss America Reports. Thanks for joining us. I'm John Lawrence.
And I'm Sandra Smith. The story starts right now. Shannon Freeman from Martha, live outside the courthouse. Hi, Shannon.
Hey guys, thank you, John and Sandra. Good, everybody. I'm Shannon Freeman in for Martha Callum. This is the story. We are waiting to see what the jury does next here in New York City as we enter our 10th of deliberations. Now, earlier, remember the jury requested that Judge Rashan reread portions of the jury instructions. They also wanted to hear back testimony from Michael Cohen and David Pepper about that crucial 2015 Trump Tower meeting, as well as testimony surrounding Karen McDougal. Now, we're told the jurors were engaged, they were taking notes, and now we wait for them. Here's the former president before deliberations begin today.
It's a very sad day for America, all over Wisconsin, and it's a very sad day for New York. I've got to do these trials already. It's a very the same time the judge. It's all rigged, the whole thing, the whole system is rigged.
Okay, a couple of Court's Judge Kate Carroll is here with me at the courthouse, and Judge, you were pouring over your notes. So let me talk about a couple of things we know the jury asked for and then get your impression. They wanted to hear this rain metaphor the judge gave yesterday. It says this: suppose you go to bed one night when it is not raining, and when you wake up in the morning, you look out your window, you do not see rain, but you see that the street and sidewalk are wet. Under those circumstances, it may be reasonable to infer that is conclude that it rained during the night. What's your problem with that? You don't love that instruction.
Well, I used to tell jurors the same thing. But I would say snow. Oh, because the problem with rain is maybe there was a sprinkler system. You never know. But it goes down to the fact that you cannot draw an inference unless you clearly have a fact that is established from which you can draw some kind of inference. It's really as simple as that. And, juries try to find out whether or not there's some special way to draw, an inference as opposed to regular. Yeah, they want to go real. They want to know if you're a juror is any different than everyday life that you and I engage in. And I'm sure it's no different in terms of trying to assess the truthfulness of something. Does it ring true to you? Does it make sense in light of all the other things that you've heard? And I think that maybe the jurors just wanted to hear it again, but at the same time, it tells you that they're already honing in on what inference they can draw or what proven fact. And so I do like it. I like that they're thinking about things that are going back and asking questions.
Okay, so another thing they asked about, and this is something that caught our attention when we were in there listening to the judge yesterday, is this reference to Michael Cohen as an accomplice. So this is what the jury instruction says. A defendant may not be convicted upon the testimony of an accomplice unless it is supported by corroborating evidence tending to connect the defendant with the commission of that crime. In other words, even if you find the testimony of Michael Cohen to be believable, you may not convict the defendant solely upon that testimony. But even just this reference to using the word accomplice with Michael Cohen, that's got to stir up some things for jurors, because it's language that suggested that, hey, these two committed some type of crime together, and Michael Cohen's already been found guilty as part of that.
Right. And you know what? As I looked away, I'm looking at page 22 of the court's instructions to the jury, and the judge has charged this jury that under our law, Michael Cohen is an accomplice because there is evidence that he participated in a crime based upon conduct involved in the allegations here against the defendant. What the judge is doing here is the judge is telling you Michael Cohen is an accomplice. That means he aided and abetted in the commission of a crime. He was complicit. And he's basically sending a charge to the jury that the accomplice was Michael Cohen along with this defendant. And I think that this is where the judge is going to get into trouble if there is a conviction. To me, this is reversible error. Because the defense was not put on notice that this is an aiding and abetting and accomplice testimony case. One of the indictment alleges aiding and abetting and complicity in terms of this defendant. All of a sudden, we're hearing the charge to the jury. I mean, that right there is reversible error. But what it does, Shannon, is it tells us that they allowed the testimony to come in that Michael Cohen pled guilty to a federal election law violation, and that David Penner had a non-press with the Federal Election Commission. That didn't need to come in. But now they're saying Donald Trump, possibly through the federal election law, committed this felony that then makes these misdemeanors alive and well today. This is like a magic show with smoke and mirrors.
Star player.
Saying, look, he's an accomplice. It's on those federal election campaign violations. And whoa, you can find that Trump was responsible for that. It's very strange. It's never been done in the history of this state. When you take two misdemeanors, you elect that one of the column A, B, and C is a federal election campaign violation, over which where it has no jurisdiction, and you say Michael Cohen is an accomplice as a matter of law. This is riddled with error.
It's got to be so confusing for the jury. And you and I have talked about the way it's set up here in New York. It does give so much power to the judge. And this is like this in some other jurisdictions too. Because if he alone holds on to those jury instructions, they have to keep coming back to him for a while. And as a former judge, you're like, I I don't mind the judge has so much. But this judge has a lot of power. We were waiting out on the jury. They came back, and so we'll see. So far, no court any notes from them, but we'll try to draw whatever information we can if they come back with another one, or they come back with a different notification from the judge. I know we'll be here together. Thank you very much. They'll be in there working, hopefully. Yeah, we hope they are. Okay, coming up, a new poll showing strong support for President Trump among a key group of voters, as some of the media try to soothe Democrats reportedly in a quote full-blown freakout mode over President Biden's flailing support.
I'm here to tell you the freaking out, the Democratic freaking out, it's just so tiring.
Kelly Conway, Mark Deason, and North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum, they're all still on time ahead as we wait the jury's next move here in Lower Manhattan.
Mom jeans. She passed them down to you. But who passed it to her? Ancestry DNA will show you the people and places they came from. Your genes are one of a kind. Find out why with Ancestry DNA.
This kind of offer retirement, but I wish we had more cash.
You think that's good? Any idea if they can sell their life insurance policy for cash? So they're basically sitting on a gold mine? I don't think they have a clue. It's crazy. Not everyone knows Coventry sell thousands of people sell their policies for cash, even term policies. I can't believe they're just sitting on all this cash.
If you own a life insurance policy,
No head on you.
$1,000 or more, you can sell all or part of it to Coventry, even a term policy, for cash or a combination of cash and coverage with no future premiums.
Someone needs to tell them. They're sitting on a gold mine. You have no idea. Hey guys, we're sitting on a gold mine. I don't hear anything anymore.
Find out if you're sitting on a gold mine. Call Coventry Direct today at 800-798-6200 or visit CoventryDirect.com.
The bike riders. I know it's not bad.
You can't have those colors on your head.
You'd have to kill me to get this check. Who did it?
I don't want any trouble here.
You're crazy.
This is a war.
You're scared of us.
I'm very scared I only engaged June 21st.
My name is Annie, and I have been taking dogs to nature for over 2.5 years. I mean, this one thing I told myself, I said, if anything ever happens to me, the one thing I want is my dog.
Wow, that's cool, man. We just got our first muton.
If I don't have anything else, but you make sure you order that for me every month. I told everybody about dogs to nature. I feel like everybody ought to take them.
Get 35% off plus a free vibrant spice supplement by using discount code Fox News. At SimpliSafe, we designed a #1 rated security system powered by 20% professional water for half the cost of traditional price security. So you stay safe for less than $1.
There he is.
Stay safe, like SimpliSafe.
As we await a verdict from New York's court, Joe Biden looks to capitalize, but will this lawfare backfire on the Biden campaign? All right, I'm at it.
If you
Close to me, is that it?
When it comes to drugs, how much pain is too much for kids? Drugs are out there. Will my team feel free to say no around other kids? I didn't live drug-free when I was younger. And I am getting that to my kids. Drugs worry me, but how can I feel free to talk about it with my kids?
questions about drugs and kids, call or chat to get real-time support. Yeah, you got it. As we wait for the jury's next move here in New York, Trump, President Biden is in Delaware. That's ahead of Hunter Biden's federal gun trial. That starts on Monday. AC Biden will reportedly be, quote, literally low-key, and is being watched the trial for any moments that could be challenging for the president's campaign. White House correspondent Peter Ducey reports from the North Line. Hey, Peter.
And Shannon, this trial is a little bit different because President Biden is not being charged with anything, but it could reveal some very unflattering details of the Biden family dynamic. When you look at the filings from the government about text messages that they would like to admit.
Wow.
Monday, one of them has Hunter's ex-wife texting him. I also found a few crack pipes. I took them out because our daughter was driving the car. There's another text from Hunter to Bo's widow, then his girlfriend Hallie. It says, I'm a liar and a thief and a blamer and a user and I'm delusional and an addict unlike anything beyond and above all other addicts that you know. And I've ruined every relationship I've ever cherished. Hallie, who's on the receiving end of that text, is expected to take the stand on behalf of the government's case.
Hallie Biden is a key government witness who allegedly disposed of a gun that Hunter is accused of buying illegally. President Biden was at her house this week.
I think the American people should also be told the full breadth of this. He visited her days before the anniversary of the passing of his son.
So they did not talk about her testimony.
This was not about that.
Republican critics, though, are not satisfied with that answer.
We're going to talk about the rather astonishing fact that right before the Hunter Biden trial, Joe Biden decided a little witness tampering is a good way to start that trial.
President Biden is in Delaware right now. There's no distance between him and his son, the defendant, on Monday. They were together on Raid 1 today.
All right, Peter Ducey at the White House. Peter, thank you very much. Okay, Andy McCarthy joins us, former Assistant U.S. Attorney General, and U.S. Attorney, not Attorney General, although we could promote him, who knows. Fox News contributor with this comment now in a new National Review article. Here is what he has to say. Quote, from start to finish, the judge, Rashawn, has put his thumb on the scales in the former president's Manhattan criminal trial. So yes, Andy McCarthy joins me now, not yet promoted to AG, we'll see, along with Sunday night America host Trey Gowdy, former state and federal prosecutors both, and also Mr. Gowdy was House Oversight Committee Chairman. Great to have you both with us. Okay, let me get to this Hunter case real quick before we get back to what we're waiting on here, which is this verdict. Trey, you had some points this morning about this. A prosecutor has handled these kind of cases because there was a plea deal of some kind. There were conversations that the Hunter team wants to argue are still in place. But he's going to trial, 2 different federal trials. This first one next week on guns.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is entirely legitimate to go forward on any allegations of tax violations. If you have allegations of corruption, go forward on it. I don't know about Andy. I never prosecuted someone for trying to buy a gun or possessing a gun who was a drug addict. And I'd be curious how many cases DOJ made. So point number 1, I don't think Donald Trump ought to be the victim of a novel rogue prosecution, and I don't think Hunter Biden ought to be one either. Go after him for all the other stuff, but addicts being prosecuted for possession of a firearm, I'd be curious how many other people suffered that. The other point that is worth making, 50 intelligence experts said his laptop was Russian disinformation in the throes of the campaign. 50 of them. John Radcliffe said, no, it's not. Chris Wray said, no, it's not. This what Exhibit A in Hunter Biden's criminal trial is. That laptop that was allegedly Russian disinformation. 50 people owe the American people an apology.
Okay, so let's get to this case here, which you also think you've got serious problems. Both of you have problems with this. And Andy, you're writing about this today. What's your latest take as we now wait on the jury? Will we get another note? Will we get a decision?
Trey and I were talking about this a few minutes ago. I think we said again and again that it's 34 counts, and I think that puts the idea in people's mind that there's an awful lot to work through. I mean, any of us who've had cases with lengthy indictments, it's not surprising that a jury takes a long time. But this really isn't 34 counts, Shannon. It's one count 34 times. It's really, every single count is the same count. To the point where logically you would think if they could work their way through one, they should be able to get the other ones really quickly. So my tendency would be to think the longer that it goes on, the better it is for the defense, because we shouldn't delude ourselves into thinking they're having a hard time working through 34 counts.
They really only have to answer one. That really should be the answer.
They've got some factual differences in dates and times and those kinds of things, but the underlying essence of what they are is, yes, essentially same. Let's play this now from James Comey, because he's got a feeling about how this trial is going to go.
I've tried a lot of jury cases, and I know you can't fully tell, even if you've been in the courtroom the whole time, but it seems to be a very strong case. I think a high likelihood of conviction, some likelihood of a hung jury, almost zero of an acquittal.
Okay, is that kind of where you guys are at here too? Do you think, good chance of hung jury, no chance of acquittal, chance of conviction?
I think an acquittal would be tough. That's my judgment, and that's not a comment on the facts so much as it is where we are in terms of the jury instructions and the rulings that took place pre-trial and during the trial. I just think it's headed that way. I've always thought it would be a hung jury. I think Andy and Professor Curley and I were debating whether it be 10-2, 11-1, 9-3, but I don't see an acquittal. But that's not a comment on the facts. That is more a comment on the way Judge Bergeron ran the court.
Okay.
I think a conviction is much more likely for that reason, but I think Jim Comey's wrong about the corroboration.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. Don't go far. We need you. Our coverage of New York v. Trump continues. Coming up, we have also got former Deputy Assistant Attorney General John Yoo, Mark Thiessen, and Kellyanne Conway on why she believes a non-conviction for former President Trump would make him, she says, quote, unstoppable in November.
Donald Trump had a slight lead before the trial began. Now he continues to have a slight lead. Look, it's still very much a winnable race for Joe Biden, but at this particular point, that Trump train that's been moving faster than it's ever moved before in a general election doesn't show any signs of slowing down, despite the criminal indictments against him.
John Napolitano here. Did you know there's a silver shortage? Former Wall Street analyst John Rubino predicts the silver shortage could cause an imminent price spike. Listen to this.
So that silver shortage we've been predicting for such a long time is finally here. Solar and electric cars are using up all the metal that's out there and then some. And that's going to spike the silver price in the next couple of years.
I used to own just gold. Now I also own silver. Why should you consider silver? Find out at the Silver Shortage Report, and my trusted friends at Lear Capital will send it to you for free. Lear is who I trust whenever I buy silver.
Get your free silver shortage report and see why experts believe silver prices are set to soar. Lear Capital, over 25 years in business, thousands of 5-star reviews, and a 24-hour risk-free purchase guarantee. When you call, ask how you can get up to $15,000 in bonus silver. Call 800-654-1010. 800-654-1010.
I'm gonna save this one.
Today we're talking about the biggest misconception that is about replacement windows.
We'll see you guys next time, alright? Peace.
Yeah, one of the big things we hear from homeowners is, I shouldn't even replace my windows because it's not that old. But here's the thing. Home builders put in high-end kitchens, bathrooms, and low-end windows just aren't that good. So even if your windows are only 7 to 10 years old, they may still need to be replaced.